Alright, in this video we're going to look at finding the area of a circle. The area is going to be the space that is covered by the circle. So we're looking within the bounds of the circle versus just the distance around it. Our formula for finding area is a little different. The area formula tells us that the area is equal to pi times the radius squared. Couple things to be aware of. We only have a formula for area that involves the radius. That means that in any problem where we're given the diameter, we have to cut it in half to find the radius amount. That's going to be a necessary piece. The other part is we got to remember order of operations, and that squaring is going to occur before multiplying by pi. This is going to help us both in our exact form and approximate form when we talk about area. So let's look at example 1. Find the area of the circle. Here I'm given just the radius, so that's 7 centimeters is the radius. So I'm going to start area equals pi r squared. I know pi is 3.14, and then I have 7 squared. If I multiply this, I get 49 times 3.14. That gives me 153.86 centimeters squared. That's my approximate form. If I wanted to keep this pi, and I do 7 squared, that's 49, so it would be 49 pi. That would be my exact form. So the exact form really just involves squaring the radius and putting the pi on the end. Let's look at B. Again, I have area. So area equals pi r squared. The radius needs to be calculated because this line is our diameter. So 26 is the diameter. Divide that by 2, and the radius is 13. Pi times 13 squared. 13 squared is 169. So 169, then I put the pi. That would be my exact form. If I multiply these two together, I get, so 169 times 3.14, I get 530.66. This would be my approximate form. And in both of these, I put square units because we're talking area. So instead of just centimeters like we did for circumference, now I have squared because I'm dealing with an area. C, here I'm just given the measurement. I have a diagram. So the diameter is 28. If I'm given diameter, I want to find the radius, which in this case is 14. So area equals pi r squared. Pi times 14 for the radius squared gives me my exact form of 196 pi. If I want my approximate form, which I'm always going to calculate, 196 times pi is 615.44, and this would be meters squared. So again, I'm just showing you both forms in case it shows up at any point in time. I typically will use approximate form for my answers, so I'm going to do that moving forward. D, find the area of a circle with a radius of 6 inches. Cool. Area equals pi times 6 squared, or r squared. 6 squared is 36 pi. That's my exact, and then 36 times pi is 113.04 inches squared. So that's how we can use the formula to help us find the area if we have a diagram or if we're just given a measurement. Looking at example 2. Call this example 2. Now we're going to look at finding the radius and diameter if we are given the area. So this is similar to what we did with circumference. The area of a circle is 78.5 centimeters squared. What is the radius and the diameter? I'm going to first always start with my formula. Area equals pi r squared. From here I'm going to plug in what I know. I know that the area is 78.5, so that's going in for A, 78.5. I know pi is 3.14. What I don't know is r. So r stays r. From here, I'm going to solve this equation. I'm looking for my r value. So I'm going to draw my line and solve. Since I want to get r by itself, I'm going to put a box around that and think, all right, how do I undo timesing by 3.14? Divide by 3.14 on both sides. In doing so, the 3.14s will cancel, and that's going to leave me with r squared. This division gives me a value of 25. So 25 is equal to r squared. So what I need to think mentally now is what number times itself makes 25. So this is going to be a mental math exercise. And that answer is, so what times itself? So 5 times 5 makes 25. So the value of r is 5. B, the area of a circle is 64 pi inches squared. Okay, they gave me exact form. That's okay. I could change it to approximate if I wanted to. I'm going to see what happens if I leave it in that form. Area equals pi r squared. In place of area, I'm going to put 64 pi. 64 pi equals pi r squared. And you might see this right off the bat. If I have pi on both sides, I can cancel them both out. I divide both sides by pi, and they would disappear. So really, this becomes 64 equals r squared. What number times itself makes 64? 8. 8 times 8 is 64. So 8 must be equal to r. Both of these questions also asked us to find the diameter, so I'm going to go back and do that. If r is 5, the diameter is 10. If r is 8, the diameter is 16. Why don't you pause the video here and try the 3 try-it problems. And make sure you find the area. Alright, so let's look at the first one. Area equals pi r squared. So this is going to be pi times 4 squared, 16 pi, which is equivalent to 50.24. Here I have the diameter. I want the radius, which is 5. So pi times 5 squared would be 25 pi in exact form and 78.5 miles squared in approximate form. Here I know the area is equal to pi r squared, and my area is 12.56. Divide both sides by pi. I get 4 equals r squared, and I think to myself, what times itself makes 4? What number squared is 4? And that result is 2. If you did have any difficulty with any of those problems, you're going to want to check in with me at this point. We're going to look at 2 word problems in example 3. A sprinkler that rotates shoots water a distance of 30 feet. How much area will the sprinkler water if it does one full rotation? Alright, so I have a sprinkler that shoots water 30 feet, and then it rotates. It's going to cover an area. Area equals pi r squared. 3.14 times 30 squared gives me approximately 2,826 feet squared. So again, I see the area in that problem because it's how much will it cover. So covering space would be area. B, Alex is painting a mural of a sun. If the sun has a diameter of 10 feet, how much area will the wall will it cover? So I have a mural of a sun. Diameter is 10, which means its radius is 5. Pi times radius squared. Pi times 5 squared is 25 pi, or 78.5 feet squared. And this is how we can find the area of a circle.